Hello and welcome to Miniatures Rundown. I'm Mitchell.
I'm Josh.
And today we are going over the new Vault of Temenos book for Necromunda.
The next in the series of the bonus points for pronouncing that correctly, Aranthian Succession.
Aranthian Succession.
Basically, Necromunda's current story campaign. Their first multiple book campaign ever?
I think so. They had the gang war books a while ago, but I wasn't playing back then, but I don't think they were a story.
Not in the same way this is.
Yeah.
In the first book, Cinderak Burning, the titular city of Cinderak was burning because Lord Helmar got assassinated or almost assassinated. He's in stasis. And there's a civil war going on. Basically, now the civil war has progressed. Lady Helmar, the 13th, his 13th legitimate daughter of Lord Helmar, has definitely taken over. There's definitely no problems. Nobody opposing that at all.
Nope. The uprising is done. We're completely...
Yep.
I know this is book 2 of, 6?
Yeah.
But the uprising is done.
She's declared that the Great Darkness is over. Get back
cool.
to work. But the backdrop of all this, while there's still that civil war going on, is that now a religious fervor has swept over Necromunda.
Yeah.
And there is a great preacher who's leading crusades, basically. And your gangs can get caught up in the crusade. So, there is a new campaign, which is meant to follow Cinderak Burning.
Yep.
Although, we'll get to that.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
And B, there are also new rules for crusading gangs. Let's start with those.
So, first of all, it calls out specifically that Corpse Grinder cults, Gene Stealer cults, Helot Chaos cults, Chaos Corrupted gangs, or Gene Stealer infected gangs cannot be pledged to a saint.
If you already have a god, you can't
Have
pick another
god.
one. Yeah.
Sorry. But basically what happens is either at the beginning, I'm looking at the wrong camera, either at the beginning of the campaign or in the middle of the campaign, you can do a post-battle action to pledge yourself to one of the 8 question mark?
Yep.
The
Ish.
8 saints.
Yeah.
I almost said preachers. You then, one of your either leaders or champions,
Someone
leader
with
or
the
champions,
gang hierarchy X rule, which is leaders or champions.
Yeah. At random, becomes the Conduit, or a psyker, as long as they weren't already a psyker.
Yes, you can't pick someone who was not already a psych. You can't pick someone who's already a psyker, sanctioned or unsanctioned.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
They become unsanctioned, which means if your opponent takes them out of action, they get credits for it. And they get one of the new psychic powers that are listed here. You do get to pick the psychic power, which is nice because some of the other ones are at random.
You get to pick. You can never get other psychic powers that are not these psychic powers.
Yeah, it specifically says you can never gain other weird powers.
Manifestations is what they're called.
Yep.
Because they're manifestations of faith.
Yep.
But
So
they are definitely still psychic powers. And
You
they
can-
follow the same psychic power rules.
Yes, that is true.
So you're rolling against your willpower. 2d6 against your willpower, beat or meet.
Which again, when you're picking a guy at random, can be a little rough.
Now, the nice thing is that champions and leaders generally have some of the higher willpower.
Yeah.
But that depends entirely on what gang you're playing.
Yeah, I'm looking at Goliath, and their leaders have like a 9.
Yeah, Goliaths are not going to want to do this.
No.
Like this, the fact that your main benefit is getting a psyker really impacts certain gangs differently.
Yeah, I agree.
So there are some gangs that are going to want to play in this space way more than others. Now, your champions could just get willpower boosts and level up that willpower.
Willpower is like ridiculously cheap on the.
It is very
on the
cheap. I
XP
believe
scale.
it's 4 XP.
I think so, 3 or 4.
So you can just pump that sucker up. But even so.
Yeah.
So let's go over the psychic powers, because you only get to pick one of these. You can get more as if they were a primary skill. So that's 9 XP.
Yep, 9 XP for a selected primary skill. You can technically randomize it. Because it doesn't say you can't. Can be gained as though they were a primary skill set. So yeah, you could randomize it for I think 6. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
But you could.
So Smite the Unclean. So there's basics and doubles. A basic is like shooting. You can only do it once. But you can still do something else.
Yeah.
Including there's an action to focus, which adds a +1 to your willpower roll.
Yep.
So keep that in mind, because some of these are basic and some of these are doubles. Doubles is a double action. You can only do that action. So the first one is Smite the Unclean. Basically, you pick an enemy fighter within 12 inches of your psyker, and for that round, reroll wound rolls against that fighter from everyone on your team.
That is very strong.
You got to be within 12 inches, but in Necromunda, that's not that hard, and it doesn't have to be in line of sight.
Ooh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah. It's also a basic action, which means you can move and do it.
Or focus and do it.
Yep, or focus and do it. It's really strong.
That's really good. Rerolls in Necromunda are very, very rare.
Yep. you have to take an upgrade to get a single reroll on a guy
Once per
game.
Yeah. Or there's a tactic card.
Yeah.
Right. Rerolls, especially to wound, are exceptionally rare in Necromunda. So that's real good.
And it's not even wound rolls of a 1. It's
Nope.
just all wound rolls. That's so good.
Yeah, that's real good. That's one of the standouts.
Yes.
The next one, Blessed Weapon, which is also a basic. Pick a friendly fighter within 6. For that round, the AP of a single weapon with the melee trait carried by that fighter increased by 1.
Yeah. That one's fine. It's good later in a campaign when armor gets really, really heavy.
I'd rather reroll wounds.
That's true. But yeah, it's fine. It's a good second pick.
Yes.
But I think the one that I like the most is the next one.
The Saint's Grace. Go ahead.
Pick a friendly fighter within 3 inches of the Conduit, your Psyker. If seriously injured, they may immediately roll to recover as though they had assistance, which means you roll 2 dice and pick the one you want. Otherwise, they recover 1 wound and remove 1 flesh wound.
Heals are like rerolls.
Yeah.
Are even rarer.
Yeah, there's like 1 or 2 in the game. And that's just the fact that you get to heal a wound and a flesh wound or immediately recover a character. As in, like, they could not have gone yet.
Yeah.
You recover them, and then they go.
You can pick them up and have them go guns blazing.
It's nuts.
That is so good. That's real good. This is almost, if you've got a good willpower character, that is almost worth picking someone to be a psyker.
Yeah, I agree. Again, it is random who you pick, but it is really
It's
good.
random between your champions and your leader.
Yeah, true. But, like, if
Strictly speaking, you could just not have any champions.
That's true. Just go automatically on your leader.
I'm not saying that's a good idea.
To be fair, I started playing with Vansar, so it's like a las cannon guy sitting in the back, and he has this like 12-inch range psychic power is not the best.
Right, yeah.
So maybe not for Vansar, and we already talked about.
You know, they've received a calling. It might change how they live their lives.
That's true. Or he could just take, I don't know, the next one. No, that's within enemy models within 3.
So the next one is a double, Saintly Radiance. All enemy models within 3 inches of the Conduit suffer a hit as if a weapon hit by weapon with the flash trait. Doesn't pin. So flash makes your opponent take an initiative check. If they fail, they lose their ready marker.
Which is very strong.
Or they don't get one.
Yeah.
The problem is that photon flash grenades are 5-inch template and cheap.
Yep. And this is a double action. You have to be within 3.
Or you could have a photon flash grenade that you can throw after aiming.
Yeah. The only reason to take that one is if, I don't know, you have a really, really tough guy that can survive a melee with multiple opponents.
I could just throw a flash grenade at him.
That's a good point. It's really bad. That's not good.
That one's one of the worst. Bastion of Faith is a basic and it's a continuous. Now keep in mind that rules written in Necromunda, you have to update your continuous effect every turn though.
Yeah, you have to spend an action to keep it going.
Which means it's functionally non-continuous because you just have to cast the power again.
You do get a bonus if you do that.
Sure, but
it's not great.
All friendly broken models within 12 inches of the Conduit immediately rally. And until their next activation, the Conduit, your Psyker, automatically passes any nerve test or cool checks. So this does have synergy because your champions, if you pass a cool check, a nerve test for your champion, everybody within 6 automatically passes.
Yes, for bottles.
For bottles, yes, bottle check. And for your leader, it's everybody within 12 inches. So if your leader is your Conduit and they auto pass their check, that could pull you back from the brink.
That's true. Just auto passing everybody within 12 without rolling is fantastic. That being said, I cannot tell you how many freaking nerve tests I failed playing Cawdor because I had everybody all bunched up. I'm thinking about taking that one, not necessarily first. The other ones are stronger, but I'm thinking about taking that one just so that I can go, everybody's fine.
Stop running.
Yeah, please stop running. So yeah, I actually really like that one, even though like it didn't need the continuous effect on it, but it's just nice that it's there.
Yeah, it should just be a chant.
Yeah.
A lot of folks, we might have to explore this, especially now that it seems that psychic powers are going to be a part of our next campaign. Because I'm sure someone's going to want to play in this space. I want to. We might have to check the house rule of continuous effect. You just make a roll, not an action, to see if it stays up.
Yeah. Brian and I were talking about that we've seen the house rule of it is a bonus action to keep it up, and you still get the benefit.
Yes.
It is probably the way that it should be. because a lot of the psychic powers, none of these, like they've kind of learned,
Mhm.
but a lot of the psychic powers are like you gain a weapon, but if you're using up one of your actions, you can't. You have to be standing still to gain a benefit from that weapon. There's like a template weapon.
Mhm.
There's you get +2 strength while you're in melee. You can't charge when you upkeep a spell. They have to charge you and not kill you.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
So I would suggest talking about that with your arbitrator. It might be way better. We might do it next time.
We will discuss that the first time someone says they want to play with psychic powers, I think.
Brian has 4 of them in his gang right now.
Oh, well, you should have brought it up.
Well, we said we were using him as a guinea pig, and he
Oh,
said,
that's
okay.
fair enough. What's the last one?
Martyrdom, another double action. For the remainder of the round, any enemy fighter that can draw line of sight to the conduit and is within 18 inches must declare the conduit as the target of any shooting attack or charge double action unless they first pass a cool check. The conduit cannot gain the benefits of cover until their next activation.
So this is one that you want to put on a Goliath who's going to have trouble casting it.
Yep.
It's shoot me.
Yeah.
You have to shoot me.
Yep. That one's real weird. Again, you want it on someone like really, really tough.
I mean, with the way this campaign is continuing from the last campaign, a lot of our fighters, unless we do something about this, are going to be going in that campaign with 2-up armor saves, toughness 6,
Yeah, true.
and invuln saves.
Yep. So maybe that's what they were thinking.
Yeah.
I think this one can either be like so strong it's probably too good, or kind of useless.
Maybe. Keep in mind, though, that it's any enemy fighter that can draw a line of sight. So
And with an 18.
if you shoot and pin him and then he's behind cover and you can't shoot him anymore, you no longer have to.
That's
in
true.
fact, you can't.
That's true.
So therefore, he's no longer a valid target, so it no longer matters.
Yeah, that's true. So it's probably just bad then.
Yeah.
It's okay.
And also, you only have to pass a cool check to undo it. So
Yeah.
for certain gangs, they just ignore that.
Yep.
So
Just
all
like
in
on
all,
a cool 4.
Smite the Unclean and Saint's Grace are real good.
Ridiculously good.
Like almost worth taking this on a gang just for those two.
And that's ignoring everything we're about to talk about with all the saints that you get the benefits from.
Yeah, some of which are good and bad. Let's go there. So there are 1,
Transition.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6.
I
There's
don't know what
6,
some
not 8.
idiot said 8.
Yeah. God, wouldn't
What a
know me.
moron. Saints of the Underhive. So these are not people. They're ideas, saints that people have come to worship on Necromunda.
Yeah.
They were pre-existing. They didn't come about because of this crusade. And they're not real people. But you are paying to somebody, so who knows?
Yeah.
So the first one is Cognis, the Saint of Quotus. So each one of these has what are called tenets. The first one is a benefit you get during the battle.
For your whole gang.
For your whole gang. The second is something you have to do, or you lose the benefit. Basically, you get sanctioned, which means you have to pay D3 times 10 credits, or your conduit goes into recovery.
Yeah. If you can't pay, is it can't or don't want to? Is unable to pay.
No, it
You
says
must
must.
pay.
Yeah, if you can, you must.
Yeah.
And then the last one is a benefit you get, another benefit you get.
But it's only on your conduit. Is
Yes.
The last one.
Yes.
So it's everybody gets one. Your conduit gets an extra one, and then you have to do something, or else you have to pay the price.
So for Cognis, the benefit is when rolling to determine income from territories, the pledged gang may reroll 1 dice from one of their territories. The second result must be kept with, even if it's worse.
Yeah. So
You roll a 1 on your settlement, you go, well, crap, and you reroll it.
Yep.
The problem is, if the pledged gang does not earn at least 50 credits from its territories, the Crusading gang is sanctioned, so you have to pay D3 times 10.
Yeah.
That can be really bad, especially starting with the campaign with that, because
Yeah.
you're only going to have your settlement.
You didn't make 50, so give us at least 10, maybe 30.
Sucks to suck.
Yeah. That's a real lose-lose situation.
Boy, sounds like tithes to me. All right.
Yeah, that's true.
And then during the post-battle sequence, the conduit can make a trade action in addition to their normal trade action. So this can lead them to making 2 trade actions, which does stack.
Yeah, so if your leader has it, they get +2 extra to your trade.
So plus
And-
4 instead of +2.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good.
That can be pretty strong. I think that means you can also do looking for illegal items and
Yes.
rare items. So that's a benefit too, at the very least.
The next one is Caliber, the Lord of Bullets.
Once per round, the pledging gang may reroll a failed ammo check, which again, rerolls are very few and far between.
Although that one's less valuable because ammo jacks exist.
Ammo jacks exist. Ammo jacks only do it on a 1, 2, or 3, depending on how many ammo jacks you have. But it can be good, especially when you are sanctioned if you end the battle with 2 or more weapons with out of action markers on them.
Out of ammo.
Out of ammo markers on them. So you really, really want to reload your weapons.
Yeah, this is I hope you have ammo jack friends.
And dear God, don't have scarce because they can't reload. Although your conduit, I'm doing the transitions from one to another. During each pre-battle sequence, one weapon carried by the conduit either loses scarce or gains plentiful until the end of the battle. So you can have a plasma gun that loses scarce, and you can reload it. Blah, blah, blah.
Very good. That's very good.
Yeah.
That's just generally all around good if you're a shooting game.
I like that one.
I'd also like to point out that Caliber is the god of bullets in Enter the Gungeon, which is a great game.
Of course it is. Next is Shanks, the Saint of Knives. Would you like to say that one?
Shanks, the Saint of Knives. All fighters in the gang gain +1 strength when using the weapons with the backstab trait.
That's going to be, basically like stiletto blades and fighting knives and
Power knives.
power knives.
If at the end of the battle, friendly fighters haven't performed at least 2 coups de grace, then the Crusading gang is sanctioned. That's bad.
That's rough.
Because that means you have to take some people out in melee and coup de grace them, and you have to do it twice.
Yep.
There are a lot of games where I don't do that once, let alone twice.
That's true.
That being said, if you were playing a more melee-focused gang, perhaps that's more...
That's more likely. But, so, weapons get +1 strength if they have backstab. And backstab says if you're in the back arc, you get +1 strength.
Yes.
So they can be like strength 5 from the get-go.
Sure. That's very good.
That's very good.
And then the last one is the Conduit gains a bonus of +1 to hit with any weapon with knife or knives in the name.
That's hilarious.
Yes. Who do you worship, Shanks?
That was the answer and my next action.
Yes.
So, like, again, power knives get +1 to hit, which is pretty good.
So the nice thing about this one synergizes, I think, with certain gangs. You said Deloc.
I said Deloc.
I will also say Escher.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you played Escher before.
I played Escher. Escher Juves really like taking stiletto knives because they have backstab and toxin.
Right.
And they're decent. Basically, this one synergizes with putting cheap knives on, like, cheap guys who can then punch above their weight.
Right. You have a guy that's really, really cheap that charges something with high toughness.
But still manages to wound that toughness 4 guy on a 3.
Yeah.
Because he's got a +1 and a +1 if they're in the back arc.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, not bad, but that sanction
Having
is
to
rough.
coup de grace, I mean, you only lose, like, the maximum you can lose is 30 credits.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, like, the being sanctioned isn't terrible. It just kind of sucks. Next is Gelt, the Saint of Coin. When rolling to determine the contents of a loot casket, as long as the result isn't dangerous goods, add D3 times 10 credits to the gang stash. That's actually interesting, as long as it's not dangerous goods.
So as long as it doesn't explode and kill you.
Right. So even if it's a ammo crate. Interesting. If at the end of post-battle sequence the gang has less than 100 credits in their stash, the Crusading gang is sanctioned. That one's just not random.
But it's very easy.
Yeah, it's super easy to just have 100 credits.
Again, sucks if you pick this one to start.
Yeah.
And the first mission you don't win, and then your territory doesn't get you.
Again, you don't have enough credits. Pay me more credits.
Yeah.
Sounds like the U.S. government. When
Topical humor. Do your taxes.
When that's today, right? Yeah, it's
No,
tomorrow.
It's next Tuesday.
Sure. I already did my taxes.
It's the 18th.
It is the 18th.
I haven't, so.
Fair. When the Conduit makes a post-battle post-battle action, reduce the credit cost of the first item purchased by D3 times 10.
That's really good.
That's really good, especially that like stacks with some other benefits.
Savvy Trader reduces it by 15.
Yeah.
Which
it's what? It's D3 times 5 on that, isn't it? Or
no,
is
it's just 15.
It's just always 15.
It's just 15.
Okay. So up to 30.
Yeah.
That's real good.
Savvy Trader also only works in the trading post. This one works in all trade actions.
Oh, okay. That I didn't realize.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one's good as long as you have the money and want more money. I mean, who doesn't want more money?
Yeah. That one's very, very good. Loot caskets getting D3 times 10. That could you could walk away with 60 credits just by opening 2 crates.
Yeah. And you could, I mean, normal crates are only D6 credits, but you know, could be up to 36 credits.
Yeah.
Per crate.
I wasn't even counting the D6.
Yeah. But yeah, that one's not bad.
Glurg the Gunk Saint. This is the Billy Joel. We didn't start the fire, gang. The Saint Billy Joel.
The Saint Billy Joel.
A Crusading gang pledged to Glurg may pick D3 weapons with the Blaze trait during their pre-battle sequence. For the duration of the battle, they gain +1 strength and unstable.
That sounds great.
So
for
this
me.
is the first one that also has a negative in it, because
Yep.
unstable is bad.
But +1 strength is good.
Unstable's real bad. Now, having a flamer go up to strength 5, or a hand flamer go up to strength 4,
Yep.
is real good. This is bad.
You could, so here's what you could do. You could put a heavy flamer on a vehicle.
And have it be strength 6, which
Have
is
it be strength 6.
which I guess allows you to wound things on 2s.
Yeah. Anyway, if during the post-battle sequence a gang pledge to Glurg has not caused at least 2 enemy models to be subject to the blaze condition, which by the way is just a 50-50 shot every time you shoot the a blaze weapon, then you're sanctioned.
Yeah.
So, complete random chance.
Now, there are gunk rounds that used to be in the trading post, but they're gone now.
Yeah.
And gunk rounds used to make it easier to set people on fire.
Yep. They're not in the black market?
No.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I felt like they should have kept them here.
Yeah, especially with the gunk saint.
And the last one is the Conduit is immune to all effects of blaze and reduces the strength of all hits they suffer from a weapon with blaze by 1.
So,
1.
basically, when you shoot a blaze weapon over your own guy, you don't set him on fire.
So the yeah, but only if it's the Conduit.
Yeah, only if it's the conduit.
I was thinking the Conduit just needs to carry fire grenades, because if they go off and land at their feet, oh well.
Yeah, there's -1 strength to it, sure.
And then lastly, Vermin the Saint of Rats.
Which, of course, is the one that I'm going to pick for my Cawdor game.
Of course.
I don't care how bad it is. It's bad, by the way. It's all about exotic beasts. When exotic beast controlled by the Crusading gang pledged to Vermin suffers a lasting injury, roll twice on the lasting injury table. The controlling player chooses which to apply.
Okay.
So
Keeps your beasts harder to
keep
kill.
your beasts alive longer and maybe not getting some injuries. If during the post-battle sequence a gang pledged to Vermin has had an exotic beast suffer a critical injury or a memorable death, then the Crusade gang is sanctioned. So as long as, because you get to re-roll it, as long as you don't roll a 60 in your 10 slot twice, so it's a 1 in 36 chance, then you're fine. And lastly, increase the maximum distance allowed between the Conduit and any exotic beast they own by 3.
That one's pretty soon.
That one's pretty good.
Yeah.
Most distance is 3, but there are some that are 6 or even 9
Yes.
base. So you can have a guy up to 12 inches away from you. That's pretty decent.
Yeah.
It's still not good
No.
because you have to like hard focus on exotic beasts or it does nothing.
And most exotic beasts are really expensive and really squishy.
Yeah. But it doesn't matter if they're squishy if...
It still matters for them being alive during the battle itself to actually do things. Yeah.
I'm going to be taking it. It doesn't matter to me. I'm going to take the guy that has 3 rats and I'm going to take 2 of them.
So,
Try and stop me.
Caliber is great, all around great.
Yeah.
Saint of Coin is all around great because those are 2 ones that are pretty easy to mitigate and have pretty decent effects. Saint of Quotas is good, but not at the start of the campaign.
Yeah.
Shanks is good if you like putting knives on people.
Yeah, and I feel like Shanks and Glurg, and even more so Vermin, they like push you towards a very specific build.
Yeah, play style.
So they're like, you have to take knives with the backstab trait. You have to take flame weapons.
Yeah.
Like, the other ones are generically good. There's like, the other 3 are like, yeah, if you have guns, take it. But those 3 are a little rough.
So now let's talk about the campaign itself.
Yep.
Just a brief overview. Basically, this is just a Dominion campaign.
Yeah, I mean, everything is a Dominion campaign to an extent.
Sure. But the main thing about this one is that instead of territories, you have relics. And the relics, in addition to giving you, like, normal post-battle boons, so credits usually.
Yeah, they're almost always credits.
The main thing about the relics is that you can also choose to take them with you. You can put them on a ganger. And that gives the ganger some kind of benefit. So, for example, one of them is the bearer can add 2 to any cool check they make. 6 up unmodifiable armor safe.
Gaining skills.
Gaining skills, a 5 up ward.
The one that every gang gets is the regular gang relic is what the initial one from the Dominion campaign did, which is you roll 2d6, and on a 6 you get a free juve, on 2 6s you get a free ganger.
Yeah. So that's basically your settlement.
I actually didn't see in here if it said that one can't be taken away. Because I thought that was usually listed on the...
I believe it cannot, but
Okay.
I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I couldn't find it when I was doing the brief overview. Yeah, and they're just a bunch of good stuff, anywhere from I think literally all of them are the regular boon is just credits.
Yep.
But then they have cool stuff like weapons with the blaze trait gain +1 strength.
But you have to bring them with you.
Yeah.
And if that person dies, there's a chance that your opponent will take the relic, even if they don't win the match.
Yeah. So it's if you have someone with a relic go out of action, you roll a die, and on a 1, the relic is added to the pool of winnings.
Oh, right. So you just have to win. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really, really risky, and the only time we have ever seen potential more than one territory get taken away in the same game, which is high risk, high reward.
Yeah. And some of them are going to be more or less worth risking.
Yeah.
Having a 5-up ward on my leader? Sure.
That's pretty good. Giving a random champion +2 cool?
Probably not worth losing that income.
Yeah. Not worth the income.
Now, the campaign itself doesn't really have any other shticks to it, except there is still the Imperial House versus Lady Kratos Rebellion, or going on your own thing. So you can choose to align yourself with some side of the Civil War. You can either go at it alone, which is to say an unaligned. You can choose Imperial House, or you can choose Lady Kratos. The bonuses for the base bonuses for doing either of those things are the same as last time.
Yep, all the same.
So Imperial House gets to add D6 times 10 credits when you win or lose. Kratos Rebellion gets an extra reputation.
If you win.
If you win, yes. And benefits of unaligned is that you get more experience if you take out an opposing gang's leader.
Yeah. The enemy gang's leader, regardless of win or loss.
Yeah. And here's the thing, during the post-battle sequence, the gang may choose to align themselves with either Lady Kratos Rebellion or the Imperial House. If the gang only controls a gang relic, then they must choose to align themselves with one of the factions.
Yeah.
Here's the interesting about that. Unlike in Cinderrack Burning, you didn't pick sides until the second half. So basically everybody controlled more than one territory.
Yeah.
In this one, if you don't win your first game, you cannot be unaligned anymore.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Because you have to
That's ridiculous.
control more than one territory.
That's stupid. I don't like that.
We can talk about it as a house rule. That is a little silly, yeah. I think it's meant to say that as the Civil War kicks up, it gets harder and harder and harder to stay unaligned.
Yeah, that's fair. I'd say this is someone who's unaligned in our current campaign. That's dumb.
A little.
I think it should have, you have to, roll a cool check on your leader or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you get you have a 4-up in each game that you play to try potentially get a Dramatis Personae to help you out.
And some of them are the same, some of them have changed.
Yep.
So Lady Hera, the current Lord Helmwar, Lady Helmwar, is there for House Helmwar. Obviously, she's the same. We'll talk about her rules in a little bit because they're in here.
Yep.
But they also added Axe and Hammer, who's the Goliath hero, and they took away the other options. It's just those two.
Yep.
For unaligned,
no, there's one more option.
Scrutinator Primus Servalin, yes.
So this is one of the things that I found interesting. So the last time there was 2 in Imperial House, 2 in Rebellion House, and 4 in unaligned. Now there's 3, 3, and 3.
Interesting.
Yeah, including Cal Jericho.
Yeah, because unaligned is Cal Jericho, Ashwood Stranger, and Durgan Killfist. And then the Rebellion is, again, Lady Kratos, again, Aethera and Styx, and now the Prophet.
The Prophet, who is new for this book.
Who is also kind of the one causing all of these shenanigans. Besides that, the only other shtick to this campaign is that you can choose, it does have a rule for continuing using a gang from the Succession Campaign Part 1. And all you do is discard all sympathizers, so all territories from previous, and follow steps A, B, and C from downtime, which is get your guys back from opponents, recover your fighters, and recruit. And that's it. Yeah.
So, you started the last campaign.
No, sorry, it's recover fighters, return captives, and promote. No recruitment.
Promote.
Recruitment is part D.
Promote is actually interesting because we've complained about that before.
Yes. They do
then
let
you
do that.
can have your Jubes and Gangers promote.
What this doesn't say is change your gear or anything like that.
Nope.
Which is a problem because unlike Cinderrack Burning, where you started with 2,000 credits, 400 for vehicles, this one still is back to starting you with 1,000 credits, 400 for vehicles.
Yeah. So you start 1,000 points below where the last campaign started, let alone they had 12 games
to rack it up.
What are we at right now? We're approaching 4,000 credits.
4,500, I think, because I'm in first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm at like 3,800.
Don't worry, Mitchell. Don't worry. They've planned for this. There's the underdog battles. If during the pre-battle sequence, one gang has a gang rating, which is your total wealth, at least 400 credits lower than their opponents, then they are considered the underdog. Every model belonging to an underdog's gang that takes part in a battle earns an additional XP.
That's not good.
You're going to die.
You're going to die. You're going to lose.
Yeah, like that is so hopelessly imbalanced. Which I guess if everybody brings their gang over is less of a problem. But not necessarily, because depending on how runaway the last campaign was.
Yeah, if someone's at like 6,000 and someone's down at...
I think poor Cody's in last.
Probably.
Like, if he has 2,000 credits of material and I have 5,000.
Yeah.
That's
horrible.
Yeah, it's like, what?
Congratulations on your extra experience, Cody.
Yeah. Do you like that experience? Yeah, it's like, what?
That's so weird.
We're going to think about a way to fix that.
Yeah, I agree.
Either toning down the gangs coming in, which is actually what I'm advocating for as we get closer to it. Partially because I don't like the idea of this turning into what I fear it's going to turn into.
Yeah.
Which is everyone has 6 toughness, a 2-up save, and 4-up invulnerables.
See, I'm swapping anyway.
Right. I don't want to swap, and I'm considering that.
Yeah. That's a little ridiculous. We're definitely going to have to talk about it at our game 0.
And yeah, I mean, this does even say no gang can stand on the sidelines forever, and eventually online players will need to choose between one side or the other. Yeah. It's part of the campaign, Mitchell.
I don't like it.
Suck it up, Cupcake.
I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter because I'm not going to be playing the same game. The whole thing was I'm currently playing basically a personal army of someone who's trying to take over the planet. But I'm not going to be playing them next campaign, so it actually doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So it's just a little weird that like the other one was the same, but you got to choose halfway through. This one is like, whew, man, you didn't win that first game. Pick someone's side. It's probably why Cal Jericho is on the list, is because he's pretty strong, isn't he?
He's fairly hard to kill. Yeah. He's only got hotshot las pistols with strength 4, but that's not the worst thing.
Not terrible.
If he comes with Scabs has a plasma gun.
It does not say Scabs.
I think he has rules on there where he can like take them for like cheap or something like that. There are also rules for creating your own relics, your own territories. They're not really baked out. You need to sit down.
They're like about it.
You can totally do this. So the missions are pretty standard. Mm-hmm. There's one interesting one you pointed out where it's one person versus the world.
It's 1 versus 5, and then basically the whole thing is the defender gets the 1, and if the attacker kills the defender's 1, they win.
But the defender gets reinforcements.
Yeah, for their whole game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the attacker only gets 5 guys for the whole game, but the defender gets 1 guy increased by 2 every turn until their whole gang is there.
So depending on who you have to pick and who you can send and what their defensive profile is.
Yeah, it is custom one, so you can pick anyone you want.
Ambot.
Or the Automata.
Which we'll talk about. I guess, let's talk about the other rules first. Let's talk about the new rules now. There's a few of them. Mm-hmm. Sorry, new model rules.
Yeah.
Let's first talk about the ones you're going to be using.
Yeah, Cawdor.
They got 2 road crews, Redemptionist and Preacher. Mm-hmm. They are slightly different because the Redemptionist is 5 credit plus more.
Yep. So the difference is one of them gets a hand flamer. Nope, they both have a hand flamer. No, one of them gets a reclaimed auto pistol, and one of them gets a regular auto pistol.
The other difference is actually in their stats. Yep. They both have ballistic skill 4, but the Redemptionist gets worse leadership but better cool and willpower and worse intelligence, whereas the Road Preacher has
7s across the board.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's good. It's very good to have your own vehicle crew because that lets them not count as champions. Yeah. Which we'll talk about when we talk about vehicles.
And then they have the same thing that all the other ones have, which are the Pious and Fanatical. Mm-hmm. Pious is if you roll double 1s on your cool check when making a rally, you get to reroll. And the other one is if you roll double 1s on a cool check when making a nerve test, you get to reroll, which are basically the same thing.
Yeah.
A nerve test is if you are going to flee, and a rally test is if you've already fled and you tried to come back. So they're basically the same thing. But that is the only difference between the two otherwise.
Yeah.
And they're 5 credits different.
Mm-hmm. Now, the really exciting one, the Cawdor Way Brethren, a.k.a. Robopants.
Robopants? What was it, Wrong Pants?
Yeah, the Wrong Trousers.
The Wrong Trousers, that's what it is.
From Wallace and Gromit.
Someone said in the comments that they can't not think of it as Wrong Trousers now.
These are your Cawdor Prospect, finally.
Yep, they finally got one.
They're 80 credits.
Yeah.
which is the same as the Dust Runners, interestingly. And like the Dust Runners from Nomads, they are bound to their mount.
Yep. They can't get off, unlike some other mounts.
Yep.
They have all of the normal stuff that a Juve would have, which would be promotion to a champion. They actually have tools of the trade, which I didn't realize until just now.
Very odd.
And then they have hot-headed and fast learner, which basically just means that they don't have to pay extra experience if they take the same upgrade multiple times. And if they are injured near somebody, unless they have the same rule, they don't care about it because they're hot-headed.
What's very interesting is that they always have Pious.
Yeah, they don't have the option for the other one, but they can be upgraded to either the Firebrand or the Deacon, depending on which side you want.
So it says they're the Outriders of the Redemption's Crusade, but it doesn't stop you from taking them in Redemption or in
the Pious whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is weird.
As far as how good they are, let me see. Weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 5, toughness 3, 3-up initiative, which they get a +1 to.
Yep.
And then
so
very bad mental stats.
They have a 2-up initiative with and they are speed 9.
Yes, that's the big thing. Their pants are speed 9, that's all the mount gives them is speed 9.
Yep.
Basically. It doesn't give them any armor or anything like that.
No, it's +1 initiative and speed 9, and that's it.
Yeah. So slightly better than the bugs.
Yeah.
For the same cost.
True.
Now, the bugs do have ballistic skill 4.
Yeah, which is not a small deal.
No, it is not. However, these guys are not shooters.
No, they do have some shooting options, but basically everyone that you will take is a template weapon.
Exactly. And
because
that's where the speed 9 comes in. Because speed 9 on a template weapon is bonkers.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So here is how Cawdor's best weapon works. It is a polearm and a ranged weapon, which is either an autogun or a blunderbuss, which is it's just a template weapon shotgun.
Yep. And generally you want the blunderbuss because it's a template weapon shotgun.
Yeah. What they did with this is they upgraded it from a polearm to a lance. So they get +1 strength on the charge or on a ride-by attack. So it's just, I mean, it is more expensive.
Yes.
I think they're normally 30 credits, so it's 15 credits more. But oh my god, that is so good on something that's speed 9. Like 4-up weapon skill, and they have a 2-inch range? Yeah, 2-inch range on the melee attack, so if they're charging, blah, blah, blah. They also have the thing that everyone was showing off, which is the Rough Rider weapon.
Yeah, they have a frag. Well, they don't have a Melta lance.
No, they don't have a Melta
They have
lance.
frag and crack.
They have frag and crack lance. So it's basically a grenade attached to the end of a lance. So when they hit with it, it explodes and either hits for a strength 6 AP -2 damage.
Yes.
Or at AoE 3. There's actually a third one. It is
Stun lance.
Stun lance. Yeah. Which is basically a stun grenade.
Yep. AKA the worst one.
Yeah.
What's funny is that like once the frag or crack lance goes off, it then is just kind of as a spent lance.
Yeah.
Which is a bad melee weapon.
Yeah, it's just a regular lance. So you get one really good attack with it, and then the rest of it you're just like poking them with a stick.
Yeah, basically. And unlike the Rough Riders.
Unlike the Rough Riders, who get to reload on the battlefield.
Yeah, they don't get to. Well, you know, it's Necromunda. What do you want?
That's true. But both of those are very cool options. I really like the thought of this 80-point guy running up with a crack grenade and going.
So what I was gonna say is, as a Cawdor player, how do you feel about 80-point prospects? With what you get for them, is this gonna make it in your list?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm definitely buying that box. I think I'm gonna probably do 2 in my starting list and go for more because.
I mean, you do get 400 credits to spend on vehicles if you.
That's true. Then we'll go into later, but there's a lot of good stuff for vehicles for Cawdor in here. But you can use the 400 credits on just these guys if you wanted to. Take 3 of them plus weapons and go
these
crazy.
Guys in a crack lance are 130 credits each.
Yep.
No armor.
Yeah. The only armor they can take anyway is a gutter forged cloak and a flak armor.
We ride and die like men.
So they're not gonna get much armor anyway. But man, they're gonna get there and they're gonna hit.
Yeah. Yeah, because with 9 speed, you're going to have a real hard time not getting them there.
Yeah.
And remember, the way mounted people work is if you get shot, you don't get automatically pinned. You take an initiative test. And they have a +1 to that test.
They have a 2-up initiative.
So unless they roll a 1, they're not going to fall over and get pinned.
Yep. And then to get back up, even if they do get knocked down, they have to take an initiative test, which is normally a downside. But on a 2-up, they get back
in that
up.
case, they won't be able to charge.
That's true. They won't be able to charge.
But still, you're going to have a hard time stopping them from getting to you, is the point. That being said, they are toughness 3, 1 wound.
Yeah.
And real bad mental stats.
Yeah,
So
they're Cawdor.
yeah, you're going to want more than one of these because you're going to want, if you only have one, it's going to die.
Oh, yeah, easily.
If you have 2 or 3,
Yeah.
and there's 4 in a box, right?
Yeah, it's 4 in a box. Yeah, it's
I think
really
it's
good.
a real good argument to taking 4.
Yeah, that's fair. I like it. I'm gonna get them.
So they've also added the hardcase Cyber-mastiff, which already existed. Nothing about the hardcase Cyber-mastiff is new.
Right.
But they've added it to the war gear for enforcers.
Yeah, because this was just in.
It was a Dramatis Personae, basically. Because it comes with Primus Servant, or whatever her name is.
Oh, okay, yeah. The one that's
she has a hardcase Cyber-mastiff. And there was another named one. They're just better Cyber-mastiffs. They're just better Cyber-mastiffs. Pure and simple, they're better Cyber-mastiffs. They have light carapace and a respirator.
Sure.
Which
I mean, respirator makes sense because they are robots.
Yeah. So the light carapace is a real good thing there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
4-up save on the doggo makes
And
it.
a toughness 4.
Yeah. Makes it a lot harder to kill.
Yep.
So that's pretty interesting. It stopped you from getting coup de grace.
Which yeah, it did before. The shock bite is the weapon that it comes with, and I wanted to look at that.
That is also different than the normal hardcase.
Strength user, AP -1 damage, shock rending.
So that's strength 3, but auto wounds on 6s.
Yep.
1 AP rending, which
I believe is +1 damage on a crit.
yes.
Yep. Wound roll of a 6 is +1 damage. Okay. With 2 initial attacks, it's not bad. It's a little expensive at 130 though.
Yes, it is.
Pretty expensive.
But it's a little tougher. A toughness 4-up armor save on a 130 guy.
It also has a thing called Tenacious, which is if it's taken out of action, don't remove from the battlefield if it hasn't activated yet.
It gets to fight before it leaves.
Yep. So it's fight on death?
Yeah, basically.
But yeah, it always gets at least 1 more activation out of it, which can be pretty strong.
The other one, though, the real thing that we care about for the enforcers
This thing's
is
so gross.
The Sanctioner Pattern Automata, aka the Lautomata.
Yep.
Or the Lawbot, or the
Yeah.
Rootin' Tootin' Robot Shootin'.
I am going to go out on a limb, and yes, it's only for enforcers.
Only for enforcers, and it's 205 credits.
This is better than the... Oh, God, what's it actually
Ambot?
called? An Ambot. Yeah, an Ambot. I was going to try and think what it's actually called.
Oh, the Luther Pattern Excavation.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's an Ambot.
It's better than that, in my opinion.
So it's 5 credits cheaper, right? Because they're 210.
Yeah, some gangs have a reduction to like 185 or something
does,
like that. Yeah. But yeah,
1 more inch of movement, 5 instead of 4. Weapon skill and ballistic skill 4, so worse weapon skill, but better ballistic skill. Because ambots are 3-up, 5-up. Strength 4, which is worse.
Because they're ambots are 5s.
Toughness 5, which is the same. 3 wounds, the same. Initiative 5, I think the ambot might be 4.
Actually, don't know.
2 attacks, which I believe is the same. 8-up leadership, that doesn't matter. 6-up cool, or 7-up cool. 6-up willpower.
Sure.
Psyker. Law-bot Psyker. Law-bot Psyker.
I don't even know how you would do that, but
You
I would let him. I would let him.
So it comes with a pacifier assault claw. Sorry, I'm just thinking of
Yeah, I think pacifier.
heavy shock baton and grenade launcher array with photon flash grenades. So first off, coming built in with photon flash grenades is real good.
And 2 melee weapons.
Yeah, let's check the stats on those. Pacifier assault claw and the shock baton. Now I believe the shock baton is absolutely awful.
Strength +1, no AP, 2 damage. Concussion, parry, shock.
Okay.
That's
oh,
not
that's the
bad.
heavy shock baton. That's
Yeah,
why it's 2
yeah.
damage. Never mind, that makes it better. And then the pacifier assault claw is strength 4, 1 AP, 2 damage, melee.
Pulverize.
Pulverize lets you roll more more injury dice.
Oh, okay.
Or seriously injured automatically takes them out or something like that. It's real good. Pulverize is real good.
I can look, it's in here. Making an injury roll a d6. If the result is, make a flesh wound into a serious injury.
Yeah, okay. So
Or if targeting a vehicle, get +1 damage dice.
Now, you can choose to replace the pacifier assault claw and or the heavy shock baton with one of these followings. A concussion cannon, a sanctioned pattern man catcher, or a sledgehammer. It's an assault ram, it's called sledgehammer.
Yeah.
The concussion cannon is 80 credits. What does that get us? That's a heavy weapon.
Yep.
9-inch, 18-inch, short range +1, strength 4, AP 1, 2 damage, blast 3, concussion, knockback, and seismic.
Wow.
So seismic always flattens somebody. Concussion can reduce their initiative.
Yep. That's the one that it reduces handling checks on a vehicle or an initiative on.
Reduces initiative and handling by 2.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, flash grenades make them make an initiative check.
I think so does Seismic. Hang on. Now I gotta look.
I've got Seismic right here. Seismic is they will always become prone and pinned. And on a natural wound, no save roll.
And if a vehicle is hit, they have to take a loss of control test. So that is the
these
important
two
one.
combine with each other.
Yep.
You can hit a vehicle with the concussion
They
cannon.
get -2 to their checks, and they have to make one immediately.
Yes.
Oh.
There's also the Sanctioned Pattern Man Catcher, which I believe is just a... it's a melee range dual weapon.
Okay.
The melee has Entangle.
Oh, wow.
Strength 4, 1 AP, 1 damage. But the ranged is a web gun.
Yep. Strength 5, no AP, silent web.
It's just a web gun.
Yep.
That's real. Web guns are good.
Web guns are really
Which is
good.
why that thing is 100 credits. But web guns are normally, what, 130?
I think so.
So this is a cheaper web gun with a melee component.
Yeah. I think a regular web gun has 1 AP, but I might be wrong on that.
No, because they don't get to make a save. You're thinking Toxin or weapons.
I must be thinking toxic weapons.
Yeah, web guns just don't have no save for you.
Yep.
And then finally there is the Assault Ram Sledgehammer. I wanna be
That is 3 profiles.
your sledgehammer. Why you got so many rules?
Melee version. It has versatile up to 2 inches, +2 strength,
So strength 6th.
-1 AP, 2 damage, knockback, pulverize.
Okay. And 2-inch range, which is good, yeah.
Auxiliary grenade launcher with choke gas grenades is grenade launcher. So short range 6, long range 24, -1 at short range, blast gas. And auxiliary grenade launcher with frag grenades is a frag grenade launcher.
You can also choose to add choke, scare, smoke, or stun grenades to your existing grenade launcher.
Yep.
Worth noting that you cannot add crack or frag.
Yeah, the only one that actually does damage is choke gas.
Yeah. This guy's not really that offensively good.
No.
Which is why I don't know if I'd say he's flat better than an Ambot.
That's true. But ambots they're overrated in my opinion.
They're slow,
yeah.
but they have infiltrate.
They do have infiltrate. That is true. That's probably the thing that puts them over the edge.
That being said, you can upgrade your light carapace, which is what the Ambot has already, right? Because it's a 4-up save.
Yep.
To heavy carapace for 20 credits.
Yep.
During the recovery and restart step, do not roll if this fighter recovers from being seriously injured. It automatically recovers if a flesh wound had been rolled on the injury dice.
Nice.
So you just don't ever stay seriously injured.
Yep.
You still flesh wounded, but you have toughness 5.
Yeah. And potentially heal it with the psychic power we were talking about earlier.
I don't think you should be able to do that because it's an automata. Yeah.
It's a weird power. Who knows what it'll do?
And the nice thing is, if a friendly fighter is in partial cover due to being obscured by a sanctioner automata, you instead count as being in full cover.
Nice.
Which would protect you against template weapons.
That's true. And it also makes it so that you have -1 to be shot, which is always awesome.
Yeah, well, -2 to be shot for full cover.
Oh, yeah, sorry. An extra -1 to be shot.
Yeah.
Has ferocity as a primary and agility in combat as a secondary.
Yeah. And got your 6.
Oh, it just has that? Oh,
Yeah,
it does.
Which is a good skill that lets you interrupt charges.
Wow. God, he's really good.
So this thing's 205 credits. I mean, obviously the comparison is with the Ambot.
Yeah.
It's an unavoidable comparison. It's the same toughness, but it's less offensive.
It is.
Both melee and, I mean, kind of ranged. The Ambot really only has flamers for range because the melt is hit on 5s.
No, it doesn't have flamers. It has an AoE template.
Oh, right, the grab things.
Yeah, the grab thing. So it could it could scatter and hit something, but it just always has a BS of 5.
The Melta, if you get into melee, does hit on 3s because it's got 3-up weapon skill. Because they have sidearms.
Are they sidearms?
They are.
Oh, that's
Which is why they're 80 credits.
Yeah. No, it's the AoEs that are 80 credits.
Oh.
Yeah, because
The Meltas are pretty expensive, though.
the Meltas, I never had them hit ever.
But either way, I think it's safe to say that the Ambot is a more offensive piece.
Yeah.
With infiltrate and better melee. They're defensively about the same.
Yeah.
But the Automata is a better control piece.
Right. It has web. It has flash grenades. It has a pacifier.
Yeah. But it's real expensive. For
It
those
is
things.
very expensive.
So I don't know. Obviously, the model itself is absolutely stellar.
Yeah, you already bought them.
Yeah, mine are over there. They're absolutely stellar.
And I'm sure when I eventually play them, I will buy them too.
You could lead an outcast gang with one of these as your leader.
Shut up, John.
He's got a little cowboy hat.
All right, sold. Does it go on his head or the huge hump that is his back?
His head.
All the way to the top.
No, because it's funnier if it's like right here.
Sorry,
Or
I'm getting
it's
away
a-
from the mic.
Or it's a normal size cowboy hat, but it's up there.
I love it.
I am the law.
But he's very good.
Yeah. What's also very good, but
Well,
maybe not for its points.
yeah.
The Guild of Coin Chronos Pattern Ironcrawler. So this is the Ironcrawler, which is the Ridge Hauler, but a tank.
Yep. It is the heavily armored, heavily offensive Ridge Hauler.
It's
Which is
a
crazy.
Forge
because-
World kit for $120, by the way.
Yeah. Which is crazy because it was already all of those things.
Yeah. So here's the funny thing, though. It maintains its less movement, 6 inches instead of 7, because it's got treads.
Yep.
But it's got treads instead of wheels.
Which means it's not slowed down.
it ignores difficult terrain.
Yep.
Same front and rear armor, but 1 additional side armor.
I think so.
Yeah, because the Ridge Hauler is 988. This is 998.
Okay.
1 more hit point.
Yep.
1 more handling. Because I believe or is it the same handling?
I don't remember.
The Ridge Hauler is, I believe, a 5-up handling.
Okay.
No, it's a 7-up handling. It just gets to 5-up when you put
Oh,
the stupid
yeah.
upgrades on it. 3-up save, which the Ridge Hauler already had.
And then mental stats are for the crew.
Yeah. So this thing has 390 credits.
Yeah.
Compared to the 230 of the Ridge Hauler.
Ridiculously expensive.
This is an example of, I forget the term for it. It's when something that is too good changes, and then you can't help but compare something to the thing that was already too good, so your perception is skewed. This thing is not grossly overcosted.
No.
The Ridge Hauler is just disgustingly undercosted.
Yeah, grossly undercosted.
The main shtick for this one is it's tougher, but it also has these things called fire points.
Yeah. So it has a transport cage, which means you can rather than putting your guys on top and they climb out, you put them physically inside the vehicle, like in 40K. And
they can't be shot at. They can't be targeted.
Nope, they can't be targeted. And normally they can't target. And they have to spend an action to get out or spend an action to get back in.
Yes.
Fire points say they can fire while they're still inside the vehicle without being able to be shot.
Yes.
Any weapon fitted to the cab weapon hardpoint contains that gains the crew operated front and right arc traits. That's weird.
That's the same as the Ridge Hauler. It's the one.
Oh,
up
okay.
front. Yep.
Any weapon fitted to the transport cage has crew operated and arc all around.
So it comes with whereas the Ridge Hauler, you do have to spend 50 credits for the container to get 2 additional all-around arcs.
Yep.
This one comes with it.
Yep. Again, more offensive. And while inside the transport cage, they can take shoot basic and reload simple actions. Shooting attack is resolved from the point on the vehicle.
Yes.
So yeah, they can shoot the Ridge Hauler's vehicles while they're inside of it, which is so good.
They can what?
Shoot basic.
You just get to shoot out. You don't get to shoot.
Oh, I thought it was the.
No. Those are crew operated as always. You don't need anybody in there to shoot those.
I feel like that's even stronger.
It
no,
is.
I was thinking because there are crew operated and passenger operated. I
Yes.
thought it was passenger
Nope.
operated.
The weapons are crew operated just as normal.
So you could just put like, I don't know, 4 las cannons in there.
No, you cannot.
No?
Fighters may not perform the aim basic action or fire weapons with the unwieldy trait while they are
Oh,
embarked in a transport cage.
Okay, so that's more fair than I thought.
And by the way, having suspensors does not remove the unwieldy trait
Right.
from a weapon. It just means you ignore the move and shoot thing.
Right.
So you will never be able to shoot with a heavy stubber or las cannon or lots of other
That
unwieldy
makes it
weapons.
a little better. It's more of
Yes.
an APC where they're like firing their weapons
Yes.
rather than like a literal tank full of
Right.
heavy weapons.
Now you can still put a las cannon in that thing on top.
Yeah, that's true.
And that comes basic, unlike the Ridge Hauler.
Uh,
So it's not quite as good. However, that you can still fire, plasma guns
Yeah.
with 24-inch range
Yeah, that's
out
true.
of that thing. There are lots of great basic and special weapons
Yeah.
that you can fire out of this thing, and you can just do that. And
That being said, it is appropriately costed. 390
Yes.
credits is a lot, but I think that is where the other one should have been. Maybe
other-
a little bit cheaper.
cheaper because you have to pay for the container and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But and this one might be a little overcosted. It's also worth noting that fire points are now something you can add to any vehicle with a transport cage for 15 credits a pop.
Right.
This one comes with 5 basic, so you can have up to 5 people in here. It does not use any vehicle upgrades slots, so in theory you could put 24 fire points on a transport cage.
What?
There's no the upgrade doesn't use any slots, and there's no limit to the number of fire points you can put on a transport cage.
Wow, you're right.
So you could just put 20 and have your entire crew hang out in your transport cage.
Well, transport cages are maxed at 5.
Oh,
There's 5. Only 5 people can be in them.
darn. Okay,
Yeah.
there goes my strategy. So anyway, the idea of getting the Ironcrawler is that it's this mobile tank with good guns and with your crew inside shooting out free from repercussion.
Right.
They can't be shot at.
Until they blow up the Ironcrawler,
Which,
like that's gonna happen.
that being said, you cannot take trailers on the Ironcrawler.
No, you're right. I mean, it doesn't get more hull points.
No, well, no, it gets one more. I believe it's
No, I mean one more. It doesn't
Yeah.
get more hull points on top of.
This thing is not that much harder to kill than a Ridge Hauler. It's a little
Yes,
harder.
It is. Yes, you're right.
I'm just. Yeah, it is very difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
It's not impossible to kill.
Well,
We'll talk about it.
we'll talk about it. You're right.
Yes.
But like statistically, it's near impossible to kill.
With most weapons, there is one exception that we have found.
Are you talking about your?
I'm talking about those things.
No, it's not even. You're not even right.
Do you want me to run the math for you?
No.
No. So what you want to do instead is you hit this with your Automata, who
Yeah.
hits this with a concussion grenade and then makes it make handling checks.
Yeah. Because a -2 to handling, you need an 8, and you could put it out for a turn or flip it.
Yep. Or just make it move where it doesn't want to move.
Yeah.
That's what you do against these things.
Yeah.
It is very much an eggs and all in one basket thing.
Definitely.
It also limits your ability to be around the battlefield. Like, this is
they're
good for
huge.
death matching, but not good for if your opponent can just do objectives.
Yeah.
So it's appropriately costed. I don't love the idea of it, I'm going to be honest, just because I don't love that whole eggs in one basket thing.
Yeah.
I didn't love the idea of the Ridge Hauler party bus. It's why last campaign I gave everybody flash grenades and just threw it at the party bus, and still people stopped doing that because it was very annoying.
They didn't stop bringing the Ridge Hauler, which was still ridiculous, but they just didn't put literally everybody on the Ridge Hauler.
Yes. Which made them easier to deal with.
Yeah.
And that's it. Though there is one other thing that I wanted to talk about because it's cool.
Okay.
Alliances.
Oh
We've
yeah,
not
the
talked
extra-
about alliances much.
because they're weird.
They're very weird and imbalanced. But there's a new one, which is you can choose to ally with the Imperial House.
I think they haven't had a new alliance since the Van Sar book,
Nope.
which is crazy.
Yeah, since the last House of book.
Yep.
You can choose to ally with the Imperial House. Now, you have to be law-abiding. Basically, you can choose to get a boon from a territory an additional time, but you have to give D3 times credits, 10 credits to the house after every mission. If you get any credits.
So, and the boon from territory can be anything from you get a free weapon to
It's usually
more
at least
credits.
D6 times 10.
Yeah, like the one in this book in particular, they're just all money.
Yes.
Plus whatever you get during the game. So like getting 2d6 times 10 again,
And then spending D3 times 10.
Yeah,
that's not bad. I mean, it all depends on how you roll.
Yep.
The big thing, though, the thing I want to talk about is the Enforcer Bodyguards. So this is the problem with alliances is that they let you bring bodyguards and basically you get to bring other small crews with your crews. And with the way the rules are written, they don't actually add any points to your team, which
Nope,
means
they
you
don't
just
cost
get to
anything.
step on other people
Yep.
with no balancing.
Hi, I have 550 points worth of guys for free. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. But I want to talk about these bodyguards. First off, the picture of those bodyguards is amazing.
Yes, it looks a little weird on camera, but it does look very cool.
5-inch movement. They're called Palanite Companions. So obviously they're going for the Roman Companions thing here,
Yep.
especially since these guys are super Romaned out. There's no models for these.
No.
Weapon skill 4 up, ballistic skill 3 up, strength up to 3, 2 wounds, 1 attack. Very good mental stats. They never go out of action.
They're assigned to a fighter of your choice, and they can basically take shots for them.
They get flak armor and armored undersuit and manacles. They also get a stub gun and a disintegration gun.
I missed that.
And they all have Overwatch and Fearsome.
That I saw.
So Overwatch is the one where you get to pick someone, just interrupt their action if you have a
Yeah. If you're in line of sight and they go to do something, you can shoot them and tell them no.
With your disintegration gun. So what is the disintegration gun, you ask? Well, it's a special weapon. Short range 8, long range 24.
Yeah.
-1 at long range. So that's not great.
That's a little rough.
Strength 5, AP 3, damage 2. Rapid fire 1, sever. So if you roll any severe injury, they just die. But also scarce and unstable.
Now, to be fair, whenever they would go out of action, they just go out cold. So unstable's not as bad.
No, but it's still pretty bad. But more importantly, it's a strength 5, AP 3, damage 2 weapon with sever.
That's ridiculous.
And rapid fire.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, what sever does is basically...
I told them.
Just now?
Yeah, you were too busy being aghast at seeing the stats.
I was being aghast. Wow. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, sever is if you roll any severely injured dice, they just die.
Yep. Just boop. You don't roll. Boop. They're dead.
Yeah. Scarce on a 6-up ammo straight. You know, that's bad.
That does suck.
But you only need to hit someone once.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Now, the being -1 at long range basically means these guys have a 4-up ballistic skill instead of 3-up.
Yeah.
And you can't level these guys up. You can't give these guys a +1 to hit or anything like that. You can't give them gear, war gear, equipment, or anything like that. They just come as they are.
Yep.
And they leave as they are, and they come back.
They have layered flak, which I think is just flak with +1 armor, because that's all Palanite stuff.
Yeah.
And then armored undersuit, so it's another +1 on top of that. So I think it's just a 4-up armor save, which is a weird way to just say a 4-up armor save.
Yep.
Layered flak is a 5-up, 4-up versus templates.
Yeah.
So it's a 3-up versus templates for those guys.
It's basically mesh, but with the better against templates. So yeah, and the nice thing is there's no downside to bringing those guys. Like,
nope.
If you're allied with the Imperial House, which is not hard.
Yeah. You don't get them every game.
No.
Because it's you have to in the pre-battle sequence. To the gang, fighters do not cost. Wait, where does it say?
You get to bring them every game. I don't know what you're talking about.
The previous ones you couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
It was like you rolled and added your leadership, and if it. Wow. Okay, so these guys are real good.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Understood.
And if you're playing against an outlaw gang, then the enforcer bodyguards have to be included.
Wow. Okay.
So
all right, that's real good.
Alliances are generally imbalanced to begin with.
Yeah.
Glad to see that nothing's changed in that regard.
Yeah, I guess. God, those are so strong. Can't wait to see those models, though. They'll look sweet.
Yeah, I want to see those models. The book, this book and the previous book mentioned that Lady Credo has her own equivalent of that.
Yeah.
They're like weird white armored jetpack dudes.
Okay.
And I want to see those models.
That sounds awesome.
And their rules.
Yeah.
We'll skip talking about the... or do you want to talk about the Dramatis Personae real quick?
Nah, it's all right.
There's nothing super special with them. The cop is very good because she can never be affected by gang tactics.
Oh, nice. There's 2, God, what are they called? Goliath ones in here, and they're both fine.
Yeah.
I don't think they're as cool as Hammer Fist and Gun Fist.
Gorslav Hammer Fist, yeah.
Those guys are awesome. The one that is interesting is the Preacher.
Mm-hmm.
He gives a benefit specifically to Cawdor, which is basically they get these miracle dice they roll at the end of every turn. He has no weapons. He has a 3-up invuln save, and he counts as 4 miracle dice. And the only other thing, he does one other thing for other gangs. I'm trying to remember what it was. It was just before Crusading gangs.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Any friendly fighter that can draw a line of sight to him get +2 to their cool and willpower.
I mean, so that does add to your Conduit.
That's true. I didn't think about that.
Give your Conduit a 2-up to their willpower.
That's
to make that prayer off.
Yep.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
So yeah, he's real weird.
Mm-hmm.
You also have to make a willpower test to shoot or fight him. So he has no weapons. He's also on foot with movement 8. I just noticed that. That's
old man.
Old man sprints. So he's a real weird one because he's like kind of support, but he's real hard to kill.
Well, but that's what a good support is.
I mean, yeah, you're right.
You know, compared to Etheria, who is pretty offensively good, pretty fast, but wants to melee you, and Lady Credo, who's just kind of bad.
Gasp.
Because she has older rules that aren't power creep.
That's true. All in all, what do you think about the book?
I love it. It's The downside, the Alliance continuing to be
Yeah.
imbalanced as hell. I understand that that's Necromunda in a nutshell, but
Do we expect anything else from GW at this point?
they could make it better.
They attempted to in the Book of the Outcasts because they put a points cost on all of them, and they're like, you could use these as your leader, and here's what they cost. So a lot of people have been using those. Rules as written, it doesn't work. It doesn't function.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, that one is a little strange that they would just like basically pedal to the metal on something that just doesn't work anyway.
Yeah.
I think Crusading gangs are cool. I do want to try that out.
Crusading gangs are real cool. Not a lot of downside to some pretty decent benefits.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens with the next campaign, though.
Yep. Because we have 4 more books after this.
The campaign itself is decent. I like the twist of being able to bring your settlements, bring your territories with you, and maybe lose them in return for a benefit.
Yeah, I like that.
I don't love the transition between this and the previous campaign.
Yeah, that one's definitely going to have to be addressed.
We're going to have to talk about that because that's a weird thing. We've talked about maybe like averaging it.
Yeah. Yeah, where we take like the average between the top and the where they start, and
and like
just to get like a few extra
to get there.
Yeah,
you could do like just take the top gang's rating and just use that as for everybody.
Ooh, I think that would be too much.
That would be too much because then people could customize better. You could do just a gear reset.
That would feel so bad. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. Yeah, I'm just throwing things out there. In general, I really like it.
Yeah, me too. It has my Cawdor boys in it. I definitely want to get Palanites at some point.
Yeah, this is making me want to play Palanites.
Yeah, you already have Palanites.
I do, and it's making me want to play them.
Yeah, maybe you just play them next campaign. Just don't even worry about those farmers.
But I put so much meme energy into the future farmers of Necromunda.
Yeah, but just play these guys.
Is Cat Police going to hold up as well as the future farmers of Necromunda?
Yes.
Well, I guess we'll have to see.
Until next time.